Welcome back to H Hour. We have got Freddie Kemp in the studio today to discuss everything. Maybe not everything. Maybe not all the secret things, but most of the stuff he's been up to since the last time he came into the H Hour studio, which was around about 3 years ago. Be aware that, so if you're new to H Hour and you've come here because you know of Freddie, you want to find out more about Freddie, you want to listen to Freddie speak, then be aware that there is a previous episode to this one called the H Hour Icebreaker, H Hour Icebreaker with Freddie Kemp. That is about 15, 20 minutes long, where I asked Freddie a bunch of questions which were submitted in advance of the Icebreaker by patrons of H Hour, who also had the opportunity, certain levels of patronage, had the opportunity to watch the live link of that interview, and they're watching the live link right now too. If you want the opportunity, then become a patron of H Hour. It starts from as little as £5 a month. The links to become a patron of H Hour are in the blurb of this podcast. Please do so. Support the podcast. For only £5 a month, you can support the Hugh. Do so. Makes me happy. It makes me happy. Do it for 1 month and bin it off after. I don't care, but just start somewhere. Start somewhere. Help a ginger. That's what you should do. Help a ginger. £5 a month. Look, from the depths and the valleys in South Wales, it's hard going. Anyway, oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, I need to start scripting something now. I have to start scripting something. Right. Freddie Kemp, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
We are rocking and rolling. The Icebreaker was good. I enjoyed the Icebreaker. Thank you for your questions. And especially the first one was a difficult one, wasn't it? About reservists, standard of reservists. You are a reservist.
I am a reservist.
Can you take that lanyard off for me just while we're here? But today, what's been going down? Let's talk about what's been going down. Like 3 years ago, mate. You came in just after the pandemic last time.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I thought the pandemic would be the wildest time. Things have just been getting wilder. Just been getting wilder.
Yeah.
Has it been good for your industry or has it been bad?
Oh God, I mean that's it. Yeah. The industry seems to be picking up. So, streamers have bought more and more into content creation, and features seem to be less. We're busier now than we ever have been. Long may that continue. And some of the stories that are being told, there's a degree of history repeating. You think, oh, the story we're telling you from this particular period seems to be very relevant to what's happening in the world right now, kind of alarmingly so. I feel that we're all just trying to do the best we can. I mean, everyone just that's a tomorrow problem. I'm just dealing with what we've got right in front of us right now. For want of a better word, to me, I sense this energy of KBO, keep buggering on, just keep going. One day, one foot in front of the other.
Keep what on?
Buggering on.
Buggering on?
Yeah.
I've never heard that expression.
It's a Churchillism.
Keep buggering on?
Yeah, it's a Churchillism. KBO.
I've never heard that. Where did you first hear that expression? Was it growing up? Must have been. Keep buggering on?
Yeah. I forget exactly the first time I heard it, but
bugger's an underused word these days.
It is.
My parents used to use it all the time. My dad did when I was young. Bugger.
And from a Welsh accent, it's got a particular.
Oh, that's Scottish.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah. Not that they had a Scottish accent, but yeah, he's Scottish. Yeah, bugger.
KBO.
It's a good word.
It is.
It's it's one of those real mile square words when you actually learn the origin of it and what it means. You go, oh, that's a bit filthy.
Yeah. It's the kind of cuss you'd expect from four weddings and a funeral. It was that kind of.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Kempy, switch on.
He's thinking.
Remembering. Who played Mr. Bean? Rowan Atkinson. In. When he's got Darling and the Lieutenant.
Blackadder.
There we go.
Anyway, rolling back from that, right? Seeing as you were in the industry, TV and film, the industry, right? Talking about Hugh Grant. Now, I was never a massive fan of Hugh Grant, right? I felt he was quite typecast early on for a long time. The films you were in it was entertaining. Notting Hill, what was the one you just mentioned? Four Weddings and a Funeral, and there's about a boy and all this kind of stuff. And then The Gentleman drops. Have you seen that film?
Have I seen the film or have I just seen the series? I think I've just seen the series.
The film with Hugh Grant is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. And his character in it. I wasn't expecting when I watched it. I just chuck it on, let's have a look. So I was just expecting like another standard Hugh Grant character, not standard Hugh Grant character. He plays like a slightly camp, is he gay, isn't he gay, journalist who is extremely clever and conniving. And it is fucking awesome, mate.
Really?
His character's so good and so unexpected if you know about Hugh Grant in the past. And the film is a good film. There's some great people in it, but well worth a watch. Well worth a watch.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Because I thought in the series, gentlemen, Richard E. Grant, I think, was that right?
Richard E. Grant's in The Gentleman.
I think in the series, I might be wrong. Huh. I might be confusing it with something else.
Anyway. How do we get on to that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's been good for the industry's growing. It's kind of been good.
The industry I think is still on a 0 to 100% recovery. I'd say the industry is now probably 70 to 80%. That's very subjective. That's from an outside viewpoint. Bags may say different, but I'd say the industry is...
Bags is on later. We'll ask him. Bags is the next episode.
There we go.
He'll be in this afternoon. Yeah.
But I'd say the industry is 70-80% recovered. But it's a very different landscape than it was pre-COVID. Very different.
In what way?
Streamers, I think, have the majority of budget now. And they can tell longer stories.
Streamers.
So Netflix, Apple TV.
Right. When you say streamers, I think of individuals sat at home doing mental videos.
I mean, that industry is booming hugely and, some good content. But I think mainstream streamers have got the majority of budget now. I might be wrong, but that's my casual observation. And they can tell longer stories. They don't have to compress their story into 2.5 hours. If you're Chris Nolan, they can expand it and go into a lot more depth and detail, and the money's there as well. Interesting segue. We've got a movie coming out on the April 3rd called Fuze.
When you say we've got a movie coming out, what do you mean?
So I was the advisor on this particular number, and my team of consultants, subject matter experts that I brought in, there was 4 or 5 of us in the end. So that's the casual we.
Fuze.
Fuze,
yeah.
Spelled that way.
Fuze. Okay, I've just got it on the screen. You're actually going to share my screen sharing is a new development on the HR studio on the live. Fuze is a 2025 British crime thriller heist film directed by David Mackenzie and written by Ben Hopkins. Mm-hmm. The film stars Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Theo James, Sam Worthington, and others. Good names in that.
Yeah. Saffron Hawking, Gugu.
So when it releases this year?
It's in cinemas from April 3rd.
And which cinemas is it in?
I don't know yet.
Okay. So how did you get involved with that?
So I was approached to provide CVs of bomb disposal experts. In military speak, we call it EOD.
Yeah.
Explosive ordnance disposal. And I shook the tree of my network and said, right, who is qualified to come and speak? CVs in, please. And so I had a handful of them from all different walks of life, but obviously from the bomb disposal world. And I put a couple into the producers, and they chose the man who ended up being the SME on it, a guy called Nick Orr.
Nick Orr. Oh, you mentioned him off air.
Yeah.
Get him in for the podcast.
Yeah. I think he would be a great guy to have in.
Why is that? What's his background?
So he's ex-Royal Engineers, but he's also done, I want to say 2-9 Commando, but don't quote me on that. I know this is out in the public domain, so if I get run ragged, that's on me. But he's ex-EOD and has been working for an NGO doing EOD stuff out in the Middle East, in Gaza, until Israel banned his NGO from Gaza, as they did with lots of other NGOs recently. Sorry, Nico, I've just outed you. Didn't mean to. Oops. But yeah, he ended up being very, very close for script to director and writer and the producers. And yeah, a lot of his expertise and experience went into the finished product. So arguably the definite SME on that job.
What's the release date of the film?
April 3rd.
April 3rd. So you did mention that. April 3rd. Okay, I'm going to go watch that. Is there a premiere anyway?
I haven't heard yet anything about premieres.
Okay.
I mean, it's still quite early days, but
okay.
But yeah, he was instrumental and a thoroughly good guy. Kind of goes back to our icebreaker question earlier about who do I find easiest working with? Absolutely, humility, collaborative. Was the easiest guy. Is the easiest guy to work with, and we're still in contact now.
How did you meet Nick? Just through this? You haven't met him before? No. Just one of the CVs that came in?
Yeah. I gave him a brief in terms of how the industry works. Managed expectations as best I could because he'd not done any film work necessarily before. Yeah. But yeah, he was invaluable, and you know, director David was over the moon, as was the whole production team with him. I came in and did the more generic military advising bit. Nick was traveling between the Middle East and the UK in filming because of his NGO work, so I would provide cover. I also had another EOD man by the name of Will, who's still serving. He's NATO for RLC, but wanted to keep his name fairly low key. So he provided my second desk, as it were, EOD cover. So yeah, I mean, it's going to look like a really, really good production.
What did you think of, on the subject of military veterans involved with productions, what did you think of Sunray?
Didn't see it. Sorry,
you
Tip.
were fucking joking me.
I'm yet to meet Tip, but I haven't seen it. I wanted to have a chat with him first, but I haven't seen it.
Who did you mention then?
Tip Cullen.
Oh, Tip will be in here at some point when I can tie him down to London.
So, in June, I've been invited as part of the HAC Business Networking Group. There's going to be, how many panellists? There's going to be 4 of us, compared by another soldier, Laurie Duncan, who's a professional actor. But Tip is going to be one of the panellists alongside me. So
in the HAC?
In the HAC.
What date's that?
16th June.
Okay, 16th of June. All right, let's talk after this. I'll see if I can get him in.
Yeah.
What a good guy. What a good guy.
We've had chats on the phone.
Yeah, a good guy. I mean, I've only briefly talked to him 2 or 3 times, maybe. Yeah. And I mean briefly.
Yeah.
But yeah, good guy. And the film was great.
I need to see it.
The film was great. You know, when you hear a film was made on $300,000 or whatever it was, pounds or dollars? Pounds or dollars? A little bit more, you know. The Declared was a certain amount. I think it was a little bit more. You go in with certain expectations. You go, okay, I hope this is entertaining at least. And I was not expecting it to be good, if I'm being perfectly honest. Just because budget constraints, you know. And I tell you what, I was incredibly impressed. Impressed. Yeah, how good it was for that budget. Also knowing how small the crew was. It was tiny. It was tiny, the crew. What surprised me most, though, was the acting. Almost all of the main characters are ex-military. Almost all of the main characters are ex-Marines. Do you know what I learned recently? The term bootneck, you reserve that term. That's only used for good Marines.
Interesting.
So if you hear a Marine refer to someone as a bootneck, it means, yeah, they were good, well-respected, whatever.
Right.
I call all Marines bootnecks.
Yeah,
I just always say
I thought it was a common thing.
Now I've stopped. Okay. So anyway, it's filled with Marines. I'll call them bootnecks because because I met most of them. But it was really good. And there's one guy in there, and I forget his name. He was still serving when they filmed it. But he plays one of the lead characters, one of the main characters. And he's still serving. He'd never acted before. And his character is the most entertaining and engaging character on screen.
Really?
Apart from Tip. You got Tip, who's the lead, right? And then he's got his team of guys, you know, these fucking ninjas around him. And one of that team, they only about maybe 4 of them, I think. And one of those guys never acted before, still serving, and his character is brilliant, and he just plays it brilliant. He's gobshite. He's a gobshite, and he's the character that, like a typical military guy, that kind of military guy you always get in every unit who will drop the most inappropriate joke in the darkest of time, and you go, "Oh my god,
too early!
Oh
too
my
early?
god!" And he's that character in the film,
Excellent.
and he plays
Excellent.
it brilliantly. Mate.
So
Plays it
yeah,
brilliantly.
those
So
guys,
good.
so
I was so
brilliant.
happy. I was so happy.
Right, okay.
I mean, they're Marines. I'd, you know, if it had been a bit of a failure, they would have been a bit inside of me thinking, "Oh yeah," I'm joking. I'm happy it was good, you know, because before that it was only really a British military movie of success was Kajaki.
Right.
Totally different movies, also totally different budgets.
Yeah.
And one was fiction, one was based on fiction, one was based on fact, on a true story.
Yeah.
It's good though to have another one out there.
Yeah.
To inspire more.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, what would you say? Just sorry. How? I know a few people now get out and they want to get into acting, ex-military, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say the chances are of someone leaving the military and being able to develop an acting career where it is enough for them to survive on?
Oh.
I'm not saying become rich, A-listers.
No.
But just, this is my career. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
This is my career.
What are the chances? I mean, I don't want to like piss on anyone's parade, but I think it is one of those vocations that I think you need to be okay with rejection and failure.
Oh.
You need to be okay with that because you're going to get fucking loads of it.
Oh.
Now, I mean, so
I do not handle that well.
Qualified is, you know, I obviously put military people from UK and US onto film sets, and I give them the best experience in terms of, you know, making sure they're squared away, all of the locations, everything they need to know about turning up, doing the job, I take care of. There's very little rejection. There's some because their face might not fit, and director might think, no, face doesn't fit on this occasion. But when you're then going up for auditions, so I was in between last time and now, I've been the military advisor on 2 Royal British Legion advertising campaigns, which is shot in September to be released in late October for the Remembrance commemorations every year. So the last 2 years, year before last, I was invited to cast for it. So I had self-tapes and in-person auditions in Soho, and you could tell who are the trained actors: Laurie Duncan, Alex Mason, and Josh Carter, also a professional actor. All 3 of them are ex-military. 1 or 2 others thoroughly have enjoyed their time on set with me and wanted to have a go at audition anyway, and they did. Mentioning no names because it's not about shaming anyone, but the difference was night and day. So yeah, if it's a very honourable vocation, but to get to cast roles, you've got to be okay with a lot of rejection. And I think I've seen Robert De Niro talk to his kids. I mean, he's done like an interview or a podcast where he said, you know, just don't go in worrying about the outcome. Fuck the outcome. Go in and just be present in that particular moment. And I think there's an element of service in the military that prepares us for that. Be present, concentrate on the here and now. The later will take care of itself. Just show up, give it all you've got. It's a bit like a PT session, you know, grizzing it out. You can't think about what's happening this afternoon. You're pressing out your press ups or whatever it is that you're doing. But
The
you've
job
got to
is
be
job interview. The audition's a job interview, essentially. It's what it's a job interview.
It
right?
is, but you can't have any attachment to the outcome. The more attached to the outcome you are, you're not present to give your character.
It compromises your performance in the audition.
Absolutely, because your brain is somewhere else, and you need to be present in that moment with those. I mean, hopefully you'll have learned the lines or you're ad-libbing, but you need to be in that moment, and the outcome is, again, I mean, metaphor, golf, one swing at a time. Fuck the outcome, literally here and now. So, the initial question was, what are the chances? I think if you can let go of the outcome, then great, crack on. But you'll go through a fair amount of rejection and disappointment first, but you need to be okay with that because you don't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
No, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think I was just thinking there. It's also maybe it's one of those careers where it is actually something that you can incrementally push more effort into while you've got something else providing your main money.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
because you know you can squeeze in an audition a week. For example, while you're doing a full-time job somewhere else, squeeze an audition a week, and then as things start becoming more encouraging or more opportunities come up, you can squeeze 2 or 3. Maybe you can add a part-time work or whatever. I mean, you could incrementally go into
pro actors coming out. They're humble enough to come and do extra work for me, for my outfit. They're humble enough to go out on set and be around good people and just take the pressure off their overheads long enough to go, actually, I'm okay.
Oh, for the essay work, the extras work, yeah. Oh my! When I in my brief foray into that, a few years back, I didn't realize that people did it full time. Like, as in, they did it full time with no intention of becoming actors. Like, they just I do essay work day in, day out, whatever gets thrown at me.
Whatever they can get.
Yeah, crazy. And it was a lot of retirees who would do it. We went and filmed at Stansted Airport for 2 days, and one of the terminals, I went the whole terminal there, filled, and we were filming an airport scene, so you need to fill the terminal with travellers, as in people travelling, not gypsies. So there was like 200 extras.
Yeah.
And there were all sorts there. There was people turning up with their knitting. Yeah. People turning up with their books. And you think, oh, that's the scene. No, I bring the book anyway because I know there's a lot sitting around or whatever. I do this all the time. So it's a day out. Get to see something different. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm on set with someone I know, and a celebrity, and okay. And, interesting.
One of the guys who comes out for us, who's ex-HAC as well, is like, this is a great break from the day job, but actually around because my organisation, shameless plug, is still serving and veteran service people, is actually just the fact that you can have a break or a brew or a wet, depending on which persuasion you are, with people of like minds and just enjoy being around like minds. And I will bring in people from all different walks of the military and go, you can be as grey as you like. You don't have to declare where you're from. I certainly don't care. Just turn up on time, give it your all, go home, do the admin when I ask you to, and you can come from anywhere, wink, and you can be as grey as you like. And people quite enjoy that. And Nick, or again, the EOD guy, was like, after we wrapped shooting on Fuze, he said that was one of the most cathartic experiences, because obviously he'd done EOD in Afghanistan, and he was able to therefore tell his story of his experiences in a fairly safe environment. So he found it a really cathartic experience, leading the art department through how to make various different props. I don't want to give the game away. But yeah, and I think lots of people have reported that there seems to be a really nice, safe environment and a creative environment where service people who've seen ops, which I haven't, can actually just spend time with people who have and just share their experiences. And that becomes quite a nice, warm environment for people to go, actually, this is quite cool. Really enjoy it.
Have you ever thought about writing or directing yourself?
Yeah. I do some small cameo roles from time to time.
You do, yeah, but you do some roles, but what about writing, directing?
I would like to.
What kind of thing would you like to do?
I mean, I like to tell a good story for sure. I can learn a script. I've done scripts before, and I've been able to handrail them so I understand the core of the story, and I can either stick to it verbatim, or I can handrail it and still give my own interpretation of the story, depending on what the director wants. In some senses, that's been me. So yeah, I do fancy it at some point, is actually getting properly trained.
Would you do military stuff?
I'd do whatever I can.
Do you think there's any hidden military stories, like unknown things
Ooh.
that would make great stories or movies?
Yes. So I think there's a lot of stuff we could probably tell about the Falklands conflict in 1982 that hasn't really seen the light of day. I mean, there was some stuff that came out.
Really? Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was some stuff that came out that was very anti-war in the late 80s, early 90s. Welsh Guards.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It was based on, I think it was based on a true story, but I think it was a Welsh, and I'm not going to get the names right.
I'll check.
I want to say Longdon or something, or Tumbledown. It was one.
The guards were tumbled down. It was. I'm sure it was Scots Guards was tumbled down.
Quite possibly.
Okay.
And I'll probably cop some heat for getting that wrong. Anyway, I think there's an awful lot of subject matter that we can explore for how close a run thing the Falklands conflict actually was. And that includes the South Atlantic, the glacier where the Wessex is carrying the guys from Hereford crashed. Another Wessex went in. That one crashed, and then another went in to pull them all out.
Pebble Island.
No, this was Ascension itself.
Oh, Ascension. It was Ascension.
No, not
no,
Ascension.
it wasn't Ascension. It was
South Georgia.
South Georgia, yeah.
And so there's that. Then there's, I want to say Paraquat, where some SF guys were then taken on a supposedly one-way mission out to Chile or Paraguay, and a helicopter was found burned out there. So I think there's an awful lot we can explore about actually what went on. I mean, enough time has passed now. I'm sure there's some declassified stuff that's come out that we could probably get into.
So, all right. So good Paraquat. All right. So this is saying, I've got it up on the screen here. So SAS mission 1982 Paraquat is what my search term was. Operation Paraquat was the British military operation to recapture South Georgia from Argentine control in 1982.
Right.
At the start of the Falklands War. It was a subsidiary of Op Corporate. The mission objective was to reassert British authority over South Georgia. Key units involved: D Squadron SAS, 2 Squadron SBS, 42 Commando Royal Marines, 42 Commando. Yeah. Sorry, Marines. And Royal Navy, a bunch of Royal Navy ships. So, where's this? So something in Chile.
Yeah. So there was another operation where
it's not mentioning that here. Was there a covert mission to Chile?
Chile or Paraguay? I think it was Chile, because I think Pinochet gave his blessing, because the idea was.
Yes, there was a covert mission related to Chile during 1982 Falklands War. Operation Plum Duff.
Great name.
A reconnaissance mission supporting the larger, ultimately abandoned Operation Mikado.
That was Mikado.
Objective: to insert an SAS surveillance team into Argentine Tierra del Fuego to gather intelligence on the Rio Grande Airbase, home of Argentina's Exocet missile-capable Super Etendard aircraft. Execution. I didn't know anything about this. On the night of the 17th and 18th of May, 1982, a Royal Navy Sea King helicopter carrying an 8-man SAS team and a 3-man crew launched from HMS Invincible. Due to poor visibility, navigational challenges, and suspected detection, the mission was aborted before reaching their target. Chile involvement. The helicopter crossed into neutral Chilean airspace, where the SAS team was dropped near Bahia Initil. The air crew attempted to ditch the helicopter near Punta Arenas, but crashed on a beach after a failed scuttling attempt. They set it on fire and evaded capture for several days. The Chilean military detained the aircrew and later handed them over to British authorities. The SES's team's fate remains partially classified, though they were reportedly recovered. With the element of surprise lost and intelligence indicating strong Argentine defences, Operation Mikado was cancelled. Chile, under Pinochet, secretly supported the UK by allowing surveillance operations and SBS use of its territory. The mission remains one of the most secretive SAS operations of the Falklands War. I need to get the gen on this. What else do you know about it?
Very, very, very little. But I mean, there's gorgeous little stories like this that, again, are so unknown that actually they form part of an interesting tapestry of storytelling. And I think the Falklands old man was there as 2IC and 9 Squadron, and he was, God, he must have been 28 when he was down there, something like that. Anyway,
Who's that? Sorry?
my old man. So, but as a whole makeup, it was such a close run thing. Could we mount it again? No, but I think there's an awful lot of creative thinking. I've got a friend up in Cambridgeshire who's one of the RAF maintenance crew on the Atlantic Conveyor. When Atlantic Conveyor was sunk by Exocet, he had to jump overboard and was pulled into a life raft, and his life was saved. So as Atlantic Conveyor was was going down, managed to escape with his life. There are so many of these little stories that make up such an amazing tapestry of exactly what went down, really, that I think there's a lot of rich storytelling material in it. Fantastic.
So we've got some info in the chat, right, from Coke, one of the platinum patron, Coke, who says that XSS RSM Peter Ratcliffe, so he was in the Falklands. Anyway, he's spoken before about the Chile operation. He said that the officer in charge on the ground had to resign, and the NCO was quietly sidelined. So he's talking about Hereford guys here.
Mm-hmm.
When they landed, the SAS patrol apparently just decided to quit the mission and didn't help the pilots before leaving. Ratcliffe said he basically years later spoke to a pilot, one of the pilots, who was pissed when he was talking to him and told him about this. Now, I can neither verify nor deny these events, but that's what Peter Ratcliffe said, apparently. Interesting. The SAS was a very different beast back then. Very, very different to now. And it's one of the things I've learned over the years of the podcast, actually, talking to Hereford guys of different eras, on and off air. You know, it's like, in fact, Chris Ryan is probably the one who's most vocal about this in terms of the ebbs, the peaks and troughs of professionalism of the SAS over that time. You know, from when they first became public and the Iranian embassy siege, and then there was a definite period of time where sort of the reputation which preceded them, I think, compromised the quality to which they were holding themselves in terms of ability, capability, quality of what they were doing. I think. Right. Caveat: I've never been in Hereford. I've never served there. You know what I mean? This is likewise. All secondhand information.
Yeah, that's right.
But it also makes sense to me. You know, but one thing you can't argue these days, I think, especially over in the times that I served and you served with the HAC, how fucking good they are. Now, you know, never mind the past.
Yeah.
Now, you know, and there was undeniable.
There was one guy who sat, if I remember rightly, just off the end of Stanley Airport, down south, there is an old wreck, an old sailing ship wreck. And I believe that there was a guy, a Hereford bloke, who was in there with a radio set, calling in air traffic inbound, outbound, so that they could get a bit of a warning of that kind of air movement. So he was literally in an OP in that old wreck. Again, never verified that, but all of this is hearsay. But I follow a chap who was at the Iranian embassy siege, Robin Horsfall, who was one of the two guys into the back entrance of the Iranian embassy with guns.
Very outspoken, Mr. Horsfall. Very, very outspoken.
Great history. I've read his book. He is outspoken. He knows his mind. So yeah.
What's his motto? Who shares wins.
Yes.
He says he shares wins, doesn't he? That's what he always puts on social media. He who shares wins.
Something like that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the original question was, what other stories would I like to tell? There are things like that where there's some juicy, amazing stories of bravery. Yeah, you and I have spoken off air about, and I think on the last podcast about Market Garden and my grandfather's connection. The more and more I learn about Market Garden, the more courage and bravery seems to come out. It's not really the stuff. It's almost like the truth is more fantastic than Bridge Too Far makes out. As a movie, that was a movie for movie
I think
sake.
that sometimes is sometimes the case where the truth is so mental.
Yeah.
Like if you put in a film, people go, "This isn't real.
Yeah,
this is not realistic.
Right,
what they've done, they've just gone over the top here."
But I think latter day movie making, starting with Private Ryan and that beach invasion scene, I think we are now in a better place to be able to tell stories and really put the viewer right in the heart of the action. So Warfare did a pretty good job of that. All of the sound design.
I liked Warfare.
Good movie.
I liked Warfare.
Really enjoyed it.
Because of that immersive experience, but it's very different.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for everyone.
It's not an easy watch.
But it's not an easy watch, mate. It's not an easy watch.
But a good watch.
Yeah, and the soundtrack, the audio experience just makes it, fuck me.
Yeah.
So good. Just off topic slightly. There are books which have been done, military books, fiction-based books, which I think would be amazing films.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk last time about The 13th Valley?
No.
Have you ever read it?
No.
Oh, mate, it's one of those books, and I think that it baffles me why no one's made a film of it. It was written by a guy called, and I apologize to people who have heard me mention this on the podcast before. I haven't mentioned it for a couple of years, but it was written by a guy called John Del Vecchio. It's a book about Vietnam. And John Del Vecchio, in real life, IRL, was a combat correspondent. He was a war correspondent or a war photographer, one of the two, during the Vietnam War. And I think over a period of 6 years, he deployed out a bunch of different times with different units, from airborne units to normal infantry units to supporting arms and stuff like that. And so he wrote two books that I know of. The 13th Valley is one, which is the one I've read. And the other one was called For the Sake of All Living Things. I've never read that. Apparently it's brilliant. But the 13th Valley, when I was growing up, my dad used to bang on to me about reading this book. It's an incredible book. Best war book you'd ever read. And I was never kind of into that stuff when I was young. And also, the book is massive, right? But the story is fucking incredible. And the story is, the overarching plot is that it's an airborne unit, I think it's 101st, or the 502nd Airborne or whatever, in Vietnam. And they get intelligence that there's this valley called the Kay Ta Lau Valley, which is the 13th in a row of valleys. And in that Kay Ta Lau Valley is the HQ element of an NVA regiment, right? So they go, right, we're going to put into operation, secure the high ground of the valley with these companies, and a company, let's call it Alpha company, is going to go onto the jungle floor. They're going to move through, find intelligence, find the HQ, eliminate it. Right? That is the plot. It turns out when they do that, it isn't the HQ element. It's a reserve battalion. So all of a sudden, you've got this company of guys, and they find themselves in the middle of a reserve battalion in the jungle. It's mad. But you incrementally find out as they go through. Now, what makes the book special is that the book is made up, that all the subplots in the book, from the smallest things like a contact happening, an ambush in the jungle, to conversations in camp when they're back at the camp before they deploy, to disagreements between the head shed, to the way the tactics are used. All the subplots are real things that John Del Vecchio experienced in all his deployments over the 6 years. So it's it's subplots which are based on true stories
turning into
brought together
yeah.
into a fictional overarching plot.
Brilliant.
It makes the book incredible. It's incredible. And the way it starts is each chapter, there's like 6 or 7 of the first 6 or 7 chapters. Each one focuses on a character who becomes one of the main ones later. You just follow in this person at the start of the book. One of them's like a brand new guy, Cherry, a new
Amazing.
guy. Another one's like the platoon sergeant. Another one's like the platoon commander, the black college educated platoon commander who's secretly gay. It's like it is amazing, right?
Brilliant.
I've read it twice now, and each time I go, holy shit, this is just so good. And you learn. It's one of those books where you learn so much about the conflict, from the political dynamics to the kinds of people who are involved with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they never made that film. But you should read the book. I highly recommend it. I warn you off about there's some gay fantasies in there. Which the second time I read it, I was like, I don't remember this shit.
Interesting.
This is very graphic.
Wow.
It's like a dream at one point. You go, I don't think this needs to be in the book.
Interesting.
Anyway, my dad didn't warn me about that bit either.
Right.
But there you go.
I'm sure there's some good stuff coming that needs to be told about Afghan and Iraq as well, I'm sure. But I think everyone loves a good story. Everyone loves a good, triumph of good over evil. And I'm sure that there's lots of good stories of courage and bravery and resourcefulness coming out of those operations. I'm sure. I think good stories like that are great, especially when there's a lot of jeopardy to start with. Okay, top 5 war movies.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
I need to think about that. Top 5 war movies. Apocalypse Now.
Ooh.
Apocalypse Now, Platoon, Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder is so good. Apocalypse Now, Platoon, Ninth Company.
Okay, didn't know that one.
You know that one?
No,
you don't.
No.
Ninth Company is a Russian movie.
Right, okay.
Russian war movie.
Right.
And it's based on a true story.
Interesting.
And it is about a story of a company of Russian paratroopers in Afghanistan that, in the madness of the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan, they get left behind.
Right. Oh.
They're like a tactical boundary and everyone else. It is amazing.
Okay.
But it shows like a lot their training before they go out there. So you get it's a bit Full Metal Jacket-y at the start.
Yeah.
But it's Russian.
Yeah.
And then they're in Afghanistan, and then Ninth Company. It's in Russian as well. Language. That's a good film. I don't know. I'd have to think on that. Platoon I watch regularly.
It'd be interesting to know what. In fact, it would be quite an interesting poll for your listeners as to what is the voted best.
What are your top 5?
Okay, so I would say Saving Private Ryan, Bridge Too Far, Mosul.
Not seen it.
I think it's on Netflix, but it's about the Iraqi SWAT teams who are going after ISIS. And I think I didn't blink throughout the whole thing. It's a decent length.
Iraqi SWAT teams.
Iraqi SWAT teams going after ISIS in Iraq. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd put Warfare up there.
I need to watch Warfare again.
Yeah, I do.
If I'm gonna, okay.
And I'm gonna. This is a controversial one, but I love it as a movie.
A friend of mine was in Warfare actually. Alex von Brock.
I know Alex. Yeah. I think I'd recommended him to production anyway. I'm sure his agent had already beaten me to it, but I was like, you definitely need to see Alex. And then Laurie, one of my guys at the HAC, I recommended him. So he and Aaron McKenzie, who's an ex-Royal, also a pro actor, were both in that as well.
Alex McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alex McKenzie who Kajaki.
Aaron
McKenzie. Oh, I was thinking of Alex McKenzie. He was one of the exec producers.
Yeah, he's ex-Royal.
Okay.
But I'd done auditions and then I'd sent a handful of guys up for audition, and so those two were selected for cast, which I was quite chuffed with. So the other controversial production was 13 Hours, Benghazi,
Not seen it.
Michael Bay. So there's loads of explosions. John Krasinski is in it, and I love it as a whole story. It's like a drug. I love it. I can't watch it too many times.
Really,
13
I'll have to
hours.
watch it then.
Secret Soldiers Benghazi. Synopsis for those who haven't seen it is based on a true story. In 2010, 2011 in Benghazi. So Colonel Gaddafi's been removed from power. Arab Spring and the CIA have a secret base in Benghazi, and it's protected by some ex-Rangers, Navy SEALs, and others, private contractors who provide security. And Chris Stevens, the ambassador, comes over for an official visit, and the locals attack his non-official compound and burn him out. That is the synopsis of the story.
Oh, I didn't realize he was. I thought he was based there.
No, he was out for a visit, and
No way.
true story. He died. The ambassador was
Yeah,
was lost.
I thought he was based there, and
No.
and it was the embassy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't embassy. He was there in an old, seemingly a rich oligarch's private house that had been deserted, with a degree of security. Again, this is I'm recounting the film rather than the true events, but the way that they've placed this rather smart looking compound, the ambassador's got a minimal amount of security. He's got like two guys as his CP, plus an IT guy. The IT guy ends up being killed, but they lose the ambassador. And again, that's true story. So it's a cracking story, really good production, lots of Michael Bay explosions. Highly recommend it. I love it. And a friend of mine worked on costume for it. So yeah, I love it. It's one of my top 5 for sure.
There are crazy stories everywhere, aren't there? That will never get told in any way like that, and some of them shouldn't be, and others will just not be known by very many people at all. Or I've got so I interviewed a lady on here a couple of times called Biliana. Biliana's a good friend. I don't see her very often anymore, but I met her through her now husband, and her husband was a server with me. When he left, he went to Afghanistan private security work, and they ended up. So the team he went on to, they were basically looking after private contractors who were doing provincial reconstruction. It was for an aid agency in Afghanistan in Kunduz, and it was him. It was another friend of mine, and I think maybe 3 or 4 other Westerners. A German, I think maybe even been a Portuguese, Filipino. And then there was a bunch of Afghans supplementing the security on the compound, his 5-story, house in Kunduz. And they got attacked one day in the middle of the night out of the blue. And 3 suicide bombers. One did the gate, the next one did downstairs, followed up by like 4 or 5 Taliban, basically, to come in to just kill everyone. And they ended up in there on the roof, just under siege. One of the British guys, one of my mates, got killed. The lady, Biliana, she got shot. My other mate got shot. The German got killed. But I think I want to say it was like 6-7 hours. We were on the roof of this building. They ended up with the Afghan police engaging them. It's just crooked out there.
Yeah,
just getting smashed and on this roof and just trying to get out of this building when it was Taliban trying to come up and others trying to come up to kill them, or kill the remainder of them. And in the end, and they were miles from any NATO base. And in the end, I think it was a German army unit that came and rescued them. And you go, fucking hell. That's a civvy story.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. It's on the subject of campaigns and military stories. so much, so many stories in Afghanistan, but
Ukraine. Now.
Iraq.
Yeah.
Iraq.
Yeah.
So many things in Iraq.
For sure.
The more I speak to guys and girls who were in Iraq during the time that I finished and I was in Afghanistan, there was so much craziness going on there, which just completely overshadowed what was going on in Afghanistan because Iraq wasn't the focus anymore.
Yeah,
and you go, what happened? How did I never hear about that?
Yeah.
That is crazy. The Battle of Danny Boy with what Brian Wood has talked about and written about. That I never knew anything about that.
Right.
Until he wrote his book. How was that not common knowledge? Something that mental,
I don't know if I'd spoken to you about this on the last podcast. Going back, to Falklands.
Yeah.
The submarine who sank Belgrano, HMS Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
Conqueror had been involved in some interesting stuff before the Falklands conflict. So this is quite interesting. And there's a book whose author, forgive me, but the name of the book is The Secrets of the Conqueror. And so the Conqueror had been equipped prior to 1982 with essentially, to all intents and purposes, a large-scale set of pliers bolted onto the bow of the submarine. So, and
Stuart Preble wrote the book.
Stuart Preble, who I believe was very high up in ITV as a journalist.
Okay.
I mean, by all means, verify that. But anyway, fantastic book, and it's almost like your jaw is on the draw for some of what came out. But there was this thing called Operation Barmaid, which was a joint UK-US intelligence gathering operation about Soviet spy trawlers in the North Atlantic, and they were using towed arrays, sonar listening. And in the Cold War, the UK and US had very superior submarine technology, but the Soviets caught up fast. So the question mark arose between Virginia and the Pentagon and the Admiralty back here as to how are the Soviets catching up. And of course, there was spy bits and pieces going on. Anyway, Soviet spy trawlers would have an array of antenna on their upper surface, but behind them they would have a towed array of listening equipment on a steel cable would be towed out the back of the vessel. Mm-hmm. So they'd be just chugging along on their diesel engine. And the idea of this large-scale set of pliers is that Conqueror would come up under the guise of the trawler's own revolutions, silently, and somehow use their mechanical pliers, large-scale ones, to cleave the towed array from the back of the Soviet trawler while they are completely oblivious, sink away, but not make it look like it was a clean cut, because then obviously it's clearly not a natural. There's no, there's nothing in nature that would create a clean cut like this. So the idea was to cleave it in such a way that it would look like it had been shorn off in the night by something. Anyway, the Conqueror, once it had been grabbed hold of this towed array, would sink away again under the audible disguise of the trawler's own engine and propeller, sink away to a safe distance, and then two clearance divers would come out, take the towed array, coil it round, and then place it in secure storage between the outer casing and the inner pressure hull, to then be taken back to be analysed wherever that might be, whether it was Virginia or back here. I think it was Virginia. So they'd had, prior to the Falklands conflict, they'd had 2, maybe 3 runs of this, no success, but they'd been going up to targets and trying to approach under the revolutions of this spy trawler to try and do this. Phenomenal. Someone dreamt this up, and obviously it hadn't occurred to me until quite recently that if you were doing this under silence, could you have a periscope up to see where they were going? How on earth were you judging the distance between trawler doing X knots, you doing X knots plus or minus, to guide yourself up, to know that you're in this place to go clunk, to grab hold of this towed array and sink away again? I mean, they do say that the Perisher submarine commander's course, the Royal Navy submarine commander's course, is the toughest commander's course in the world.
I've spoken about it recently with a guest We went through it. Yeah. Who was the guest? I forgot his name, but I'd never heard of parishes before.
Yeah.
And we spoke about it at length. And yes, my goodness me, it sounds like ruthless.
Because you've got to have in your head.
And you only get one shot as well.
Yeah. And if you fail it, you're off. You can't be in the submarine service anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can't be in the submarine service anymore, and you can't have a second go. That is
it's a
pressure.
one. Yeah, and you've got to have surface contacts, their speed. I mean, you've got to know your mental mass. Like, seriously, to come up, do a sweep with your optics, whether it's a periscope or whatever it is they use these days, and grab an idea of surface contacts, their direction, speed, and to know that you can then place yourself under your command to get the best advantage. Phenomenal. And I think that the US sends some of their submarine commanders on the parachute course. I don't know how many are successful. I think the last documentary I watched on it was some time ago.
I'm just trying to find the podcast who I interviewed there for people who want to know about parishes. How big were the pincers? Do you know?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how they would see where they're going.
I have no clue. Not a clue. But if you want a good rip-roaring ride...
Marcus Peters is the guy. Look at that. Okay. This is the benefit of having some people watching live. They're listening, correcting me as we go. Marcus Peters was the Navy guy I spoke to about the parishes. Okay, thank you, Coke. Right, sorry, go
on. But yeah, if you want a rip-roaring read, and there's more to that book as well than just the exploits of the Conqueror pre-conflict. You do learn about the sequence of events as per the commanding officer of the Conqueror upon releasing those 4 torpedoes at the Belgrano. Oh, I mean, that if you want a very, very, very fascinating, and it creates almost more questions in your mind, the narrative given by Stuart Preble and his book as to what the commanding officer said at the time of that engagement versus what John Knott, who was the Defence Secretary for Margaret Thatcher, said to Parliament and the public at the time. There was some mismatch.
Go on, explain more on that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not as fluent as because it's been a few years since I read it, but what I would point people to and get their curiosity into is that from memory, Preble had said the commanding officer of the Conqueror had told Northward, which was command at the time, I have got surface contact, which is Belgrano.
And then they can see it.
They've got it. They've identified it.
Yeah.
And they'd sought permission from Prime Minister Thatcher as to what to do about it. And I'm not going to incriminate myself by getting the facts wrong, but I commend your listeners to read it and make sure that they've got it down. But John Knott, if from memory, had then told Parliament and the British public at the time a different story to what the commanding officer had said was the case. There was a disconnect between his story versus the commanding officer's story at the time.
All right, so online it says the decision to sink the Belgrano on the 2nd of May 1982 remains one of the most contentious episodes of the Falklands War, with conflicting narratives centered on military necessity versus political motives. British justification. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and Admiral Sandy Woodward argued the Belgrano posed a real and imminent military threat. Despite being out, my cousins, by the way, will be loving. I've got Argentine family; they'll be fucking loving this. Despite being outside the 200-mile total exclusion zone, the ship was part of a coordinated Argentine naval pincer movement aimed at a British task force. Woodward stated that position, capability, and intent mattered more than speed or direction. I can't argue with that. In isolation. The UK government claimed that the Belgrano had been ordered to re-enter the TEZ and attack, a claim supported by intercepted signals later revealed by Major David Thorpe. Thatcher maintained the decision was based on strictly military grounds, not political calculation. Argentine and critical perspectives. Critics, including Labour MP Tam Dalyell and whistleblower Clive Ponting, alleged the Belgrano was sailing away from the conflict zone and posed no immediate danger. They argued sinking undermined a genuine peace initiative brokered by Peru, which was being discussed at the time. The ship's poor state of readiness, lacking modern anti-ship missiles, carrying mostly conscripts, and equipped with wooden mock missile launchers, fueled claims it was not a serious threat. Argentine naval officers, including Admiral Enrique Molina Pico and Captain Hector Bonzo, later confirmed the ship was on a tactical mission and not retreating, but some acknowledged its location outside the TEZ made the attack legally questionable. Key contradictions were that the Belgrano was moving away from the Falklands. The UK denied awareness of the Peruvian peace plan, and the UK claims updated orders allowed attacks beyond the TEZ.
So the book connects into that in terms of what the commanding officer and through Stuart Prebble's book says as to the authority that was requested back in the UK as to what to do about this surface contact. Do I engage or do I not? That's up to you, Prime Minister and government, to command us.
I don't think that we would have been interested in a peace deal either, if I'm being totally honest.
I think the US were doing some shuttle diplomacy, but I think Prime Minister Thatcher had got her mind made up.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not criticising necessarily that, but what I do get, and I think the critics of the sinking were that the hubris of government at the time, which kind of links back to what we're seeing over the pond at the moment, the hubris of the government of the time, spinning a narrative to suit its own ends, rightly or wrongly, is human nature, ? The book is fascinating. Now, I don't know if this is still true, but last time I read it, the ship's log of the Conqueror at the time, the months around Operation Corporate for the Conqueror went missing. And obviously the states should be official secrets, but they would have had all of the submarines, long locations, times, speeds, and. So for them, remember again from the book, months of April, May, and June of 1982, that ship log for the Conqueror went missing after the conflict, which would have been incriminating for the government at the time as to where the submarine was, what it had been doing pre-conflict, and it was suspected by the MOD and the government at the time that the ship's log had been stolen by one of the ship's officers.
Oh, the log had gone missing.
The ship's log, which would have given, again, dates, times, locations, and.
Convenient.
Very.
I bet it's not the first time it happened.
I mean, this is what I love about a good story. I mean, it leaves so many open question marks. I'm not criticising any party. I don't have the balls for that, sorry. But I just find it a fascinating insight, okay? I don't know if I'm just trained to trust the commander of the submarine at the time more than the government. Probably. Yeah, fascinating story. Really good read. I highly commend it.
I will,
especially as it's so
read
contentious.
That, yeah, I fancy reading it. I'm looking for my next book.
Secrets of the Conqueror.
Actually, it's the submarine world, military submarine world. Is just fascinating me more and more and more. I've interviewed a few submariners now, and they just, most of what they do is sneaky beaky. I can't really talk much about where I can give you like story. I can't tell you where we were. I had a guy on. I think he was the first submariner I had on, maybe. I'm just giving it away, haven't I? Anyway, he got MD'd. I think he got MD'd. He hurt his back. I say he hurt his back. He hurt his back in a diving accident. Diving from a sub.
Right.
right? This guy was a submariner. He wasn't Special Forces, submariner. So I'm not saying he was pool, right? He wasn't.
Sure.
But he had a particular role, and he was in a diving accident, hurt his back in a diving accident. And in the aftermath of, going through the process of medical discharge and everything that comes with that, like, I need money now to survive, the compensation and the insurance and all of that. There was major problems because the specifics around how it happened, when it happened, and where it happened could not be shared. So, and there were specifics that would normally be critical information to judging.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we owe this guy? Like, how much are we fucked up here?
Yeah.
And it couldn't be shared. And it dragged on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Just because it's like secrets. There's no way we can tell you because it wasn't long ago. It isn't like the 60s. And now it's 40 years later, we can release that information.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting and not great for him at the same time, but I love that world. I tell you what also interests me is the psychological aspect and the nature of the people who do that job, especially now where the technology has advanced that much, where subs can be submerged and people can live on them submerged for 6 months plus.
At a time, yeah.
I mean, I say 6 months plus because that's what's been done so far.
Mm-hmm.
You can do longer theoretically, but it was a British sub that did the longest submersion, didn't it? An unsurfaced mission, longest ever. I think it was about 3 years ago, and that was over 6 months. They went under the fucking water and didn't come up for 6 months. Imagine that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, back to the psychological aspect of, you'll have spent time just in the army, right? In being long periods of time with a small group of people in limited space in a limited environment, right? I've done it repeatedly. Not for 6 months. Like, I've been away in operation 6 months. And most of that would have been with with a small number of people. But the environment changed over time. The people will change over. Not the same people in the same environment for 6 months. That will mess you up. One of the things I always reference when I talk about anything like this, when Big Brother comes up, the program Big Brother. And I think these people have gone, I'll do Big Brother. Celebrities or not, when they have the Nolans, I'll do Big Brother. And I think they think it's going to be a walk in the park. They think it's going to be a walk in the park. Yeah. They don't realize how difficult it is to walk in. This is why you see people with crazy characters who go mental in there and just become erratic or just unexpected behavior. Because it's a psychological experiment. You're like a rat in a box in there getting tested.
Yeah.
You were the same people. Limits. You cannot get away from people. There's no getting away from anyone. And if there's people in there you do not like or you rub up against, you can't get away from them. You have to deal with it. And you are being filmed everywhere. Everywhere. It just plays with your brain. Plays with your brain. And now make that a military mission.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the stresses that come with that. And then chuck into that, maybe you got a wife. Maybe you got a boyfriend.
Kids.
Maybe you've got kids. Maybe your mother's just become ill. Maybe, I don't know, pick a scenario.
I mean, I believe, and I might be wrong on this, that they are allowed to receive incoming mail once a week, but they can't send out.
Right, okay.
But if they do get news, they can't do anything about it. They are literally unable to do a thing until they're back up alongside. So there's a sense of power, but also completely, there's nothing I can do. What do you actually expect me to do now? I can't do a thing. So I think I'd find that impossible. Part of my sense of adventure would love to spend some time on a submarine. I don't know how long I'd survive, but I mean, what an existence. And obviously, there's two different types of sub that we've got. There's the hunter killer, and then there's our protection, for want of a better word. Two different jobs. And so, I think the limiting factor on length of submersion is food. They can make their own water. They recycle everything. I think the main limiting factor is how much they can store
Mm.
in food to get them through.
Who was I think it was Marcus Peters was saying on an episode that when you first get onto the ship, they don't get an indication of like how long they could be out.
Yeah.
They'll get some sort of indication, but he said when you get on ship, the main indicator is how much of the like living areas is now boxes of food.
Yeah.
He said you literally they will put it under your bed, they'll put it under your mattress, and it'll be stacked up. When they're trying to cram every space, it'll be stacked up. You go, what the fuck is going on?
Das Boot.
Das Boot, yeah, good film. I've seen that for years. Yeah.
Utterly amazing.
Just a little anecdote on that compassionate cases and not being able to expose yourselves because of military reasons. Iraq, I was on a mission. The term mission makes it sound grand, I don't know what it was, but I was on a mission with a platoon. We're in the desert in Iraq. It's with 3 para, and news came through that one of the young lads, his father had died. Right, it came over the net, update over the net. Yeah, as in to our platoon commander. The platoon commander was young, a little bit naive. Platoon sergeant was not young, naive. And news came through, and a similar problem arose. Like, shit. Okay, well, and we knew that his parents were divorced, right? And they knew his parents were divorced. Like, right? Okay, well, we don't want to say, yeah, come and get him, or tell him, in case there's no need. We don't want to compromise the mission. They may not be, like, for example, if he wasn't close to his dad and doesn't care, this is the rationale going through the platoon commander's mind. If he isn't close to his dad and he doesn't care, then he may not be bothered about going back. All right, so, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him if he was close to his dad. But platoon sergeant's like, you're going to what? Fuck you talking about? So you're going to go up to him out with the blue and go, hey, let's refer to him as Johnny. Hey, Johnny, how's it going, mate? Yeah, not bad, yeah. You're close to your dad.
Yeah, we could just see the conversation now.
What's your relationship with your dad like?
It's like, what?
Is it good? Is it good? Oh, yeah, get on well. Oh, okay. I got some bad news. No, I don't like him. I don't even speak. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Go back into your pit. Go back into the stack. It's like, fuck you talking about? I talked him out of it and basically said, yeah, Johnny, your dad got some bad news. Your dad's. And we, got him out because the mission wasn't that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that important that you couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck me. Anyway, the quality of commanders. There we go. Submarine commanders that wouldn't do that. They just wouldn't surface.
I remember seeing a great documentary. I think it was Heston Blumenthal who went on board a Trafalgar class submarine. Must be in the early 2000s.
Okay.
On a mission to try and revolutionize the feeding of submariners. Generally speaking, the freezer on a Trafalgar class sub was limited, but most of the food was stodge. And he came up with a really fascinating, I think you might be able to still see it online on the YouTube, fascinating thing that he was going in and showing, actually, we could show you how to store a greater deal of food, higher quality. So actually, rather than you being sat at your set of controls, stodged out on pasta or fish and chips or just general big carbs, actually, this would be a much better way of, so if that was an interesting, application of Heston Blumenthal's crazy genius kitchen bits and pieces. I don't know how they do it.
Have you been on a sub?
No, never. No, the only sub I have been on was the one down at Gosport, the museum.
I went HMS Talent years ago because I was on a sailing trip, adventure training sailing trip, and the Navy were heading that up. It was mostly Navy, and then it was, I don't know why, it was a tri-services thing, but then it was 4 reg blokes who'd never sailed before. I was one of them. And anyway, we got invited onto the sub after, and that was an eye-opener. A real eye-opener to see that. Just so cramped, so small, but does fascinate me. And the technological side of it as well. They're just amazing. Have you, I was out in France, in Marseille, many years ago when I used to work for a company called Blue Abyss, astronaut training center company, which was in the startup phase. And we went to a company there called, not Comsat maybe. No, not Comsat. Anyway, at this location, they were subsea specialist company, various things, creating habitats, as they're called, living under the water. And on site there, they had the oldest military submarine, the very first that was invented. And this thing was, I think it was 1903, 1904. And it looked like like a long, thin fish, like a pilchard, but a long, thin kind of iron thing. And it was just on the grass outside, very long, very long. And I remember thinking, you're a different breed if in the 1900s, they're like, right, those subs that people have been testing out? Yeah, we've got military one now. Gonna get on. And it goes underwater. You're gonna go about in it. You're gonna come up. Maybe stick some mines to things. The Navy in general is a service that also fascinates me because of the history of it, how long it's been around. And when you get organizations like that, there's so much little quirks and traditions and nuanced ways of doing things that can only be brought about with the passage of time.
Yeah.
They don't exist in newer beasts.
No.
I mean, no more obvious in that the book Jack Speak. Have you seen that book?
No.
It is it's a dictionary of Navy slang.
No, Navy slang.
Mate, it's like 2 inches thick. It's like a Navy friend, Gav Tuat, gave it to me when he first came on the podcast. My first sort of introduction to
Jack
Navy
Speak.
people.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-inch thick book. Thousands of words, slang. It's just their own language because they've been around that long.
Yeah. I mean, fair play, kudos to them. They are the senior service, and as you say, it takes a certain mentality. A family friend of ours was on Glamorgan in 1982, which was exocetted. He doesn't talk about that very much.
That was the Welsh Guards, right?
No, that was Galahad.
Oh yeah, Galahad. Yeah.
Glamorgan was a Royal Navy vessel rather than a troop carrying fleet auxiliary, but they were exocetted but didn't sink. But still, lots of casualties from that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does take a certain mentality. I mean, it takes a certain mentality to serve in all three forces, isn't it? Really, different strokes for different folks.
Mm.
What was the other John Nichols book? Have you ever met or read any of John Nichols?
Pilot.
He was the backseater on the tornado that got downed over Iraq in Iraq.
I'd like to interview him, but he's very difficult to tie down. I haven't approached him yet. Oh, have I? No, I think I've approached him a few years back. But maybe, because I interviewed Mandy Hickson last year or the year before.
Nice lady.
Mandy's tight with John, I think.
Yeah.
So I may see if I can reach out to him. But yeah, he would be a good. Have you met him?
No. I've just read his books, Eject, and Tornado, and one other. Fascinating stories, honestly. He tells a fascinating story of the first Martin Baker ejection seat on Eject, and then the fact that you're then on a escape and evasion, a different mission altogether for your own survival. Fascinating.
What did you think of Maverick, the second Top Gun?
I enjoyed it for its own sake. I mean, I'm a Top Gun fan and a complete geek plane spotter. I enjoyed it as a film.
I thought it was better than the first.
Very, I get that.
I've watched it multiple times, and I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise anymore. But that his acting's great. That film, the training run, that I like. The fact it's just a training run. It can put that much suspense and like edge of your seat in you when you know it's just a training run. But is he going to make the time? Is he going to make the time? And you know it's simulated, and it's all, you know, there's no mountain there, and it's just like, you go, oh my God, it's incredible. Because it's so realistic as well.
It is.
Like, oh my God.
I think they're
so
shooting a
good.
third, aren't they?
So good.
Rumor has it they're shooting a third one. Is that right? I don't know.
I haven't heard that. Let's
wrong.
not do that. Let's not drag it out, Tom.
I mean, they did up the ante between 1 and 2. How many years was it between the first one and the second?
Decades. It was decades.
Decades.
So look.
I mean, let's see what they can come up with for the third one, but let's not fall into the trap.
86.
1986. Christ alive.
25 years.
And did you know, I think I've seen another documentary on this, that Top Gun, when it was first released on a crowd test, so closed audience crowd test, tanked.
Really?
So they didn't put the lovemaking scene, and when they then see each other in the elevator, was shot months after. In fact, just before the re-release to the wider general release audience.
Okay.
Because the story just didn't flow until they put those two bits in. I think it was it Jerry Bruckheimer who was the producer on it? I think he was the one who said that to camera. So some interesting little mini stories behind that. But yeah, when it was first crowd tested before general release, it tanked. It was not well received. But now look at it.
Yeah. You know, I always, when I look back now and look at old amazing movies, especially the sci-fis, and then I look at the year they were made and I go, oh my God, that long ago. I didn't realize it was that early. Like Alien. Wasn't Alien released the same year as Star Wars?
Quite possibly.
Right. What year do you think Alien was released?
Jesus.
Think about Alien. Think about Star Wars, right?
So Star Wars was, Christ, 1980, or was it? Was it even earlier than that?
No, Star Wars was 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
So it must have been 77.
I think Star Wars is 73, was it not?
No, can't have been that early.
77, yeah. All right, when do you think Alien was released?
81.
79.
No.
Yeah. Now, to me, Alien, the way that film is mid-80s.
Yeah.
Maybe at the very earliest.
Yeah.
79. And so, because it seems such a better quality and such a different type of film to Star Wars. And what it's it's similar in like 60s and 70s music, where the films are concerned. The scope of the types of film and the high quality of stuff that's being released in the late 70s, early 80s, off the charts. When was Rambo? When was Rambo First Blood?
No, that's got to be 81, 82, surely.
Have you read the book?
No.
Spoiler alert, there's only one book for a reason. It wouldn't be possible to have Rambo 2.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
The book is... The film was based on the book. The book came first, obviously.
Right,
well, obviously. The book is well worth the read. It is, so much better than the film.
Yeah.
And the film is good, but the book is so much better. Rambo First Blood.
So go on, when was Rambo made or released? 80?
Rambo was 82.
82.
Yeah, 82. Brilliant film.
Bridge Too Far was 1977.
Was it?
Yes.
I thought it was earlier than that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, made in 76.
There's a question in the chat from Coke. What do you think of The Longest Day?
Oh,
wasn't that with John Wayne? Was he not?
It was John Wayne, yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long
black
time.
and white. I mean, I haven't seen it in such a long time. I'm almost not qualified to comment. I've seen it a few times, but it was a long time ago. Actually, I need to see it again through fresh eyes, Coke, to be honest, to be able to give you I'm copping out here, frankly, in answer to your question.
It's a super long film.
It is a long movie. Another movie I need to see, another black and white, again, risking going over the same territory, is Theirs Is the Glory, which was made in 1945.
What's it called?
Theirs Is the Glory.
Oh, Theirs Is the Glory, yeah.
Theirs Is the Glory. So that is Operation Market Garden. Again, made just after the war, but all of the people who played in it were there in 1944, black and white. So it tells the story of Arnhem and the bridge. Definitely of its era, 1945, black and white. So quite jittery in some ways, but the prestige of it is quite something.
Yeah, the cast, when it's describing their characters, I'm going to share this screen. Okay, theirs is the glory. Writers, cast. Richard Lonsdale plays himself. Stanley Maxted plays himself, a war correspondent. Thomas Scullion plays himself, a German. Alan Wood plays himself, war correspondent. Jerry Dimmock plays himself. John Frost. John Frost? The John Frost?
The John Frost.
No.
The John Frost. Company commander of 2nd Parachute Battalion for the raid on the French coast for the
Breville.
Bruneval raid.
Bruneval, yeah.
And then ended up being 2nd Parachute Battalion commander at Arnhem.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Leo Glenn, narrator. Freddie Goff.
Freddie Goff
himself.
Plays himself.
Kate Horst, herself.
Yeah.
Jeff Von Rissel, himself. Bernard Boy Wilson, himself. Holy shit. I've never seen this film.
It's a watch.
Need to watch it.
It's a proper watch.
Need to watch that, yeah. Right. What's on the horizon for you and work? What's going down?
Well, okay, so we've got, again, Fuze coming out in April. I'm on a project at the moment, shooting over in Germany, but then goes to Bulgaria and Spain. Can't say what that is yet, but that will be out next year on Netflix.
What's the genre?
Huh?
What's the genre?
Oh, again, what? I don't even want to risk it.
Okay, don't.
And then I'm on another streamer platform shooting something at the moment, which started on Monday. That will be a good one.
Is there a major difference between being on set with a streamer or being on set with a streamer?
No.
What's the opposite of streaming?
A feature.
Okay.
So a one shot, as in a movie that you've seen in the cinema.
No, but you could no. Well, BBC isn't a streamer, and they do series, for example.
Okay, so I'm taking the opposite of a streamer. A streamer would generally do something in episodes. That's a broad, really imperfect generalization, because obviously there are movies on Netflix, of course. But I'm suggesting that the difference between a streamer would be episodic versus a feature being a one-off. That's kind of in my mind.
Okay.
The difference between the two.
Yeah.
In terms of the mechanics of how that set operates, apart from script being episodic versus a one shot, very little. All of the characters, in terms of crew, the first AD, the second AD, all of that can be mapped from one to the other. So very little in that sense from my experience.
Where do you see the future of films being in terms of length and composition? Because the reason I ask is because people's attention spans are going down I think Matt Damon apparently said something about this recently where I can't remember. Oh, that's right. I think he said that films now are needing to repeatedly state or imply, remind the viewer what the plot is throughout the film.
Well, I think it's because of this second screen.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree.
People's attention span is so.
I think he said. I haven't seen what he said. I heard someone else say it. People at home, they're not fucking watching. So, what do you think the future of filmmaking is then? If it's for broadcast at home?
Oh,
because I haven't seen things change much in the last 10 years where film's concerned. They still seem to be a kind of similar length to what they were before. Hour and a half, 2 hours. Right? Generally speaking.
Yeah, it depends on the marketplace. But I mean, one of my favourites that wasn't in my top 5. Oppenheimer. Love.
Good film. I've seen it a few times. Good
Cracking.
film.
Yeah,
Good
same.
film.
Same. What was that 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
It's a watch. Yeah, if the filmmaking is, or the storytelling is riveting, then of course there will be some people who will be like, this isn't really doing it for me, of course.
Mhm.
And then there are some people like me who will be like, I'm absolutely lapping this up.
Yeah.
Future of filmmaking, I think we need to get back some really good storytelling. There's been a lot of rehash because there are some, well, I mean, what is it?
That's not the door.
No.
Oh.
There's 7 stories, I think I remember being told, in terms of the human psyche, and there's 7 main plots. So everything can be whittled down into these 7 ideas
On anything.
of anything. Where there's a protagonist, antagonist, good against evil, that kind of thing. So it can be separated down. And I'm at risk of not sounding like I know what I'm talking about. I'm grasping, in a way. Bear with me.
None of us know what we're talking about, mate. It's all right.
We see a lot of recycled stuff, but sometimes these things can be rehashed because actually they are still relevant, because history is repeating itself in a way. So these stories are worth telling because actually they do reflect back lessons that we had learned but have since forgotten. So there is that element. The independent filmmaker, I mean, Netflix, or who's the other person who's looking at buying Paramount? Paramount is up for sale. I think it was Netflix or another studio was looking at buying it. And Christopher Nolan, who in my mind is now probably the preeminent mainstream director, is now the president of the Guild of Directors. I think he took up office last year. He's saying that, again, I'm taking his words and kind of re-synopsizing what he's saying. He's worried about the loss of a mainstream studio being a danger for filmmaking world, well, certainly Western world-wise. So I think Paramount is up for sale, or is it Warner Brothers?
Okay.
Anyway, I think the fact that more people can make movies. I mean, AI is another thing, very contentious in the arts. But decent storytelling is timeless. But that can be open and available to many people, and doesn't necessarily have to be mainstream anymore. Where that's going to go is anyone's guess. Absolutely anyone's guess. But I think we are a storytelling race. We tell stories to pass on wisdom. We tell stories to pass on danger. We tell stories to teach lessons. We are story people. I don't think that will ever go out of fashion. It's just the quality of how that's put across.
Yeah. Be interesting to see where it goes. One of the things that I regularly sort of think in my mind is this kind of long form podcast. You know, could it be done differently? Could I achieve the same thing differently? Shorter, basically shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's the case. I don't think it's the case at all. You can't. It would take away from the quality of the conversation, and the difference isn't the quality of the conversation. I mean, how you define the quality of a conversation based on multiple things.
Yeah, very subjective.
What is being spoken about, or the topics being spoken about, the way it's being spoken about, the types of people talking about it. And we talk about video, the way they look, the lighting, a million different things, the timeliness of the topics being spoken about, I don't think you can get that in the short, not in this way anyway. You can do hyper-focused, specific topic things. I've just done my first H-hour feature, actually. It's being put together at the minute by my editor, David, but there's a guy who I thought, okay, like a podcast isn't going to do him justice. It needs to be something bigger than the podcast. But the topic is, it's something it would not be of interest to most people, listeners so I don't want to release it as HR podcast number, whatever. And this guy deserves, I think, a specific thing about it. The guy is a guy called Peter Wynne Wilson, right? And for Pink Floyd fans out there, some people may recognize the name, most people wouldn't. Peter Wynne Wilson, I just happened to meet him the year before last, and he's like 80 now. Peter Wynne Wilson is the original lighting engineer for Pink Floyd. He is the one that designed, made, and did in their shows their lighting. He made what their light shows
incredible, because
they are known for it, right?
Absolutely.
And arguably you could say what they did, Pink Floyd, with the light shows, which was him, that
set a precedent
influenced
for
everyone else.
Correct.
Everyone else, right? Yeah. Well, this guy is the guy. Right? And he is, apart from just that piece, he is an amazing man. He's such a nice guy. He's still super active. He always wears dungarees with pockets in because he's always making shit. He's literally a fucking inventor, and anything he puts his hand to, he's just amazing at. He's so incredibly talented in loads of different ways. And I was trying to work out how to do it. I went to like a 2-hour interview with him in his cottage in Oxfordshire. And then he's got a workshop. He calls it his workshop nearby. This thing's a fucking warehouse. Right? I mean, it's a warehouse. He's got a forklift in there. And it is just filled with decades of his stuff that he's procured, invented, developed from other people. And then we went and had a walk around, talked through different things. Like he's got a objective lens in there, which came off a U-2 spy plane, an actual U-2 spy plane. But he went, that's available. I'll have that for projection purposes, for projecting across the Thames onto the Houses of Parliament, for example.
No way.
Which he did. Honestly, mate. Like, he was on tours with Floyd, with Jimi Hendrix,
amazing.
Janis Joplin. You just go, what in the fuck? Just an incredible guy.
Those are great stories to tell.
So that, I sort of ventured into the feature side and go, okay, this deserves to be something else.
For sure.
It's never been done about him. He's been in the press over the years for little different reasons, but to sit down and just get out of his, and also we've become friends over time, so nice. There's trust there. Yeah. And some of the stories, mate, oh my god, I wasn't expecting this kind of things to come out. He's got this sort of personal stuff, and then I'm no engineer, but I like that engineering side and the technical side of things, especially for people like him who are so enthusiastic of talking about it and to articulate complex things in a moronic way for me. I mean, not in a moronic way, in a way for morons like me.
I mean, accessible is the... I reckon I'm ADHD. I swear. I mean, I've got a 10-year-old boy, and looking at his performance, I would say, the more I researched about it, it's like, yep, on the spectrum for sure. But the more I read about it, the more I'm like, holy shit, that's me as well, easily. And my propensity for detail, I would say my degree was biochemistry. I'm an absolute plane spotter. There's not that many things about planes I don't know. That is absolutely my weakness. I'm not normally found at the end of a runway with a massive telephoto lens, but I love it. And I find I'm definitely in my happy place when I'm on set with people, less so when I'm behind a desk or a screen dealing with admin type stuff. I force myself to do it because I have to do it, but it's not really where I like. Anyway, I rudely interrupted.
No, it's fine. I interviewed a guy recently called Alistair Sandhouse.
Right.
Dr. Alistair Sandhouse. And the reason I interviewed him, because I came across his book called No More Normal. I think it's called No More Normal. No More Normal. It's a relatively recent interview, so for people listening to this, you can easily go and find it. Just go back a few episodes. And the book No More Normal, it's a assessment and how he sees it's his analysis basically of this like sort of explosion of people being diagnosed with ADHD, ASM, also other things like depression and these from conditions and illnesses, right? And the book was really interesting. There was a point in the book I thought I'm not saying, I'm not judging you here.
Of course.
I thought I was ADHD for sure. And I was reading through the book, and literally at a point I went, holy fuck. Like, I've been misdiagnosing myself. I've been diagnosing myself, and I'm totally wrong.
Right.
Totally wrong. And it was, for my particular case, clear as day. And it is clear as day. I just needed to to read and understand more about what I was experiencing to go, yeah, you've been talking shit to yourself, you. You know, and I explain on the podcast right at the start about the more in details, which I won't go into now.
Right.
I highly recommend the book for various reasons. Not to read it and go, yeah, and find out, actually, I'm fine. Or, I'm not on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But to understand it more.
Right.
Understand it more. And also how to approach going, well, should I want to confirm this? How do I go about it? What's the best way to do it? How better to understand this condition I'm in now? Whatever it is. It is. Really good book. And it's really easy to consume as well. So you can start with a podcast, actually, but yeah.
So I've in the past,
controversial book,
I'm sure,
because he talks about overdiagnosis, and there is a percentage of people who are being misdiagnosed, 100%, for different reasons, But he talks about that, you know. But obviously, there's a lot that are being misdiagnosed. There is actually increases in rates of certain things. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm wary about getting formal diagnosis. I will read the book, but I believe that if I do get formally diagnosed, I'll never be able to get a shotgun license ever again. I'm a shooter. I mean, yeah, winter sport, outdoor sports. If I got formally diagnosed, that's it. Would never be able to have it.
What, with ADHD?
Apparently.
Jesus, I didn't know that. That's a bit extreme.
So, you know, I've been a serving reservist with live weapons. Yeah, so...
Yeah, don't bother. Don't bother going with diagnosis. No.
I mean, it's an interesting self-understanding element. So, yeah, I'll read the book. Sounds like a good read.
What have we not spoken about that we wanted to cover? We didn't really have an agenda to come in with.
I mean, it feels like we've swung a lantern and had a good turmeric over a brew.
Yeah, it would,
exactly that.
Good conversation though. A lot on the military side. I liked it. I'm going to read. What was the book? Conqueror, the book.
Secrets of the Conqueror.
Secrets of the Conqueror. I'm going to check that out.
Highly
you need to
book.
get into the 13th Valley.
13th
there is an
Valley.
audiobook as well.
And Rambo.
Man. Yeah. Rambo the book.
Yeah.
Everyone has to read Rambo the book.
Yeah.
Honestly, so good. Yeah. So good.
Mosul, if you haven't watched on Netflix, highly recommend it. Warfare, if you haven't seen it, it's not an easy watch.
Definite. Warfare, you have to watch that. You have to be immersed in it.
Absolutely.
You put your phone in another room.
Yeah.
You turn the lights down.
If you can.
Either a great sound system, or headphones. Just, man. Do you know what it reminds me of, actually? The soundtrack on that, when I was watching that film, there's certain films I go, all movies, the soundtrack's important, and the score is important, right? And probably I'm not using the right language here. I'm talking about the music in the background, right? Not just the score, the music in the background. Some of them you go, this is absolutely critical. If the score wasn't like this, the film would be nothing like it is, right? There's 3 films that spring to mind when I think, 4 films that spring to mind when I think of them. Oppenheimer's one, Interstellar's another, Oppenheimer, Interstellar, Warfare is another, right? The 4th one is the new All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, not seen.
Oh my God.
Not seen.
Honestly, there's this recurring, I want to call it like a tone. It's almost like it's not like a bell being like a low tone bell being rung, but every so often there's this recurring tone throughout the film.
Interesting.
And that is the thing that maintains a level of darkness to that film, which is like I had to watch it in 3 sit-ins. It's a long film, but that's not why, because it was like, this is fucking dark. This is dark. You know, it's making me feel dark.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's gory. Yeah. It's not because it's anything. It's just the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is this is something else.
I remember
something
seeing the
entirely.
original which
I've
I
never-
think
I've
was
never
black
seen the
and white.
original.
I think it was black and white, but recolorized. Don't quote me on that. But I remember seeing the original a long, long time ago, so I need to watch that with fresh eyes. I also find that a fascinating experiment. Is as our experience and age changes, going back to movies that we saw in our youth, and it's like we have a different relationship with that movie all over again.
On that topic, I watched for the first time ever Flashdance.
Oh
right?
my God.
Maybe 3 years ago. When was the last time you watched that film?
Probably about the same, but what a fucking movie.
What, recently?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
3-4 years ago.
It's Flashdance with the girl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You could not make that film now. You could not make that film now.
But what a movie.
In the film, she's like, her character's like 17, maybe
about that.
18.
Yeah.
Gets seduced by the boss. There's a moment where her friend is like basically nearly raped. And there's like that whole 30-odd-year-old leader of a company man seducing the teenager.
Yeah.
And the teenager, by the way, who's representing the film, highly sexualized, which, I mean, teenagers are. But the way it's done in the film, you go, oh my God, you couldn't make this now.
Yeah, and when I first watched it, I just didn't get any of that.
No.
I mean, I was looking at it through teenagers' eyes myself, or younger, because I remember it being one of my parents' favorite movies, and it's the soundtrack to it, epic.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But yeah, as you say, you couldn't.
So many problems now, though.
Couldn't make it now.
Anyway, right, Freddie, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, been good tonight.
Bags will be rolling in soon, so I don't know how soon, but you're free to stick around if you want to say hello. If you need to shoot, it's no problem.
Yeah.
And
thanks for your attention, listeners.
Time,
Thanks for your attention, listeners.
Oh, so I'm sure they enjoyed it. I know the chat enjoyed it. The live link enjoyed it. So anytime, come back in, mate. You're welcome. And if not, let's get a brew anyway next time in the area.
Get yourself to the cinema in April.
Good luck with Fuze. Yeah.
It should be good. It's good heist movie.
Looks good.
The modern day Kelly's Heroes.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember it being entertaining.
Very good.
Telly
Savalas.
Savalas, is it?
Yeah.
Savalas.
Telly Savalas.
Is it Savalas?
Yeah. Come on. Names.
You got Max Million, what's his name in it?
Blank. Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas.
Kelly's Heroes cast. So look. Clint Eastwood, Terry Savalas, Don Rickles, Don Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, he's good.
Epic.
Yeah. Anyway, Kelly's Heroes, we're done.
That's a top 10 for sure.
Been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you very much for having me along.
No worries. Thanks for coming. We are